T.O.P. Android stocks are up, but are they worth your hard-earned red coins? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are talking about the Dokkan Festival Chopo's banner and the return of several units that may or may not be worth your hard-earned red coins. So we'll take a look at specifically these guys right here, the Tournament of Power Androids, and determine whether or not these guys on their first return are worth your 400 hard-earned red coins. So let's go ahead, let's kick things off, and let's jump on in. So let's begin by prefacing with the following, because I know somebody out there is gonna be like, hey, no, you should save for X, Y, or Z unit. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way, right? If you did not pull Beast Gohan or AGL Broly during the 9th anniversary, then yes, of course, save your coins for them, right? Secondly, if you did not pull Tech UI Goku, well, first off, get on that. He's still available right now. But if you didn't get him, right, you know, save your coins for him, obviously. His return should be around Saiyan Day, right? So March 18th of next year. So don't want to be waiting that long, right? Otherwise, these two guys should be showing up around Christmas time for their return. So if you don't have the coin, if you're barely enough coins to buy a unit, save for these guys, especially if you miss them. So go ahead and get that out of the way right this now. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead, let's take a look at these guys. So they are tournament participants and siblings bond, category key 3, HP attack and defense 170%. They get an additional attack and defense 30% for characters who are on reps of universe 7 and join forces. They do have a 12 key super attack that greatly raises attack and defense for the turn, and they have a unit super attack that massively raises their attack and defense for 1 turn, while also causing immense damage and raising allies' attack and defense by 35% for 2 turns. And the activation for that unit super is just having a Goku attacking on the same turn. And on the reps of Universe 7 team, that is quite the easiest thing you could possibly do, right? And we'll talk about why that is here in a second. So their passive has they have an entrance animation that activates once only. It randomly changes key spheres of certain type to rainbow key spheres for 4 turns from their entry turn, as long as there's another reps of Universe 7 ally on the team. They get attack and defense 170% and defense 180%. They get an additional attack defense 50% and reduced damage received by 35% when performing a super attack. They also have an additional 50% attack and high chance of performing a critical hit with 7 or more key spheres obtained, and they also give tournament participants category allies key 2 attack and defense 35% and an additional key 1 in attack 17% and defense 18% with 7 or more key spheres obtained. They have an additional attack 59% when performing a super attack and foresee enemies super attack within the character's attacking turn if there's an ally includes Goku. So I mean, realistically, they function on reps of Universe 7, most especially when you have a Goku on each rotation. Now, they do have an active skill that can be activated 78% or less from the 5th turn of battle, and it can be used every turn after that, right, as long as you maintain the 78% or less, and it changes tech key spheres to int key spheres. So this will really help them keep that support passive and that extra attack defense up. Right, so they are really good. The defense can be a little lacking, but consider the following. Number one, they add, right, let's say if we look at the defense here, right, let's assume you get your orbs, right? So 35% defense and 18% defense, right? We're talking about over 50% defense and over 50% attack, right? So really, really good there. And then combine that with the fact that they are also supporting allies for 2 turns on their unit's super attack, right? Combine that with the damage reduction. They'll live most normals in the game. Things can get a bit dicey for them for super attacks, especially in some of the later fights, but consider the following. If we pull up here, let's pull up Reps of Universe 7, because this is more likely where you're going to be running them at, right? Reps of Universe 7 is basically dominated by the EZA LRs that have released since the 9th anniversary, right? You have 17 and Frieza, who actually work, you know, are actually gain a lot by having those guys around, right? You have the MVP 17 and Universe 7, who basically, right, you know, you combine their 2-turn support with the androids 2-turn support, and we are talking about an Evolution Blue Vegeta, a UI Goku, or a Tech UI Goku that is literally melting bosses away. Evoken too, to some degree, right? Depending on their turn setup and the orbs they get, right? It's wild the amount of support this team has, right? Like, you could have a double Tech UI lead running these two, running this guy, and then the Tournament of Power Androids as a floater, and you've got a team that is basically constantly being supported, right? Because UI supports 59% attack and defense once transform, and then, you know, 35 while in base. And so that, I mean, you've got that going. These guys support passive on top of 2-turn support on their 18 key, right? These guys, same thing, critical hit support. These guys support. I mean, it just, the team is drenched in support, and adding the Tournament of Power Androids into the mix does, you know, it does wonders for the team. It makes some really funny things happen. Like, I'm talking about post-revive, this guy coming out at near 50 million, 47 million, I think is what I got him up to, right? Like, it's just wild. So, I say all of that to say that I do think, yes, these guys are worth your 400 coins, provided you do have, the 9th anniversary LRs, and you do have the Tournament of Power LRs, right? UI Goku, AGL and Tech, SSB Evolution, right? You have these guys, including MVP 17, then yes, I would say totally these guys are worth the 400 coins to add to your Reps of Universe 7 team. But otherwise, if you're missing a lot of the core of this team, then they leave a lot to be desired, right? If you don't have the main protective mechanics that this team is providing to protect them out when things get dicey, then maybe they are not worth it for you. So I will throw that out there. Another thing I want to caution you of is TURs coming forward, right? If you missed several of the units this year, TURs, just consider, right, you do have these guys, SSJ3 Goku and Int Boo, who should be returning next month during the worldwide download celebration. I know most people probably skipped out on Golden Week campaign, so these guys are definitely ones you should consider picking up. But I mean, you could pick up these if you plan. You could pick up the androids now if you know for sure you're going to be summoning on worldwide download celebration, right? Another one to consider is Tech Vegeta. He may not return with coins until November for global. It'll be October, November, right? Since we're having same time releases after worldwide for JP and global, we might actually see his return as soon as October, right? If this dude goes the Int Broly route, we may not see this guy till December or till November. So it's just going to depend on how they decide to handle that. But if you miss this guy, I mean, altogether, right? If you don't have this guy, even if you did have all of those LRs, I definitely think you should probably save your coins for him. He is far more worth it than anything else, but just throwing that out there. Another one we did go over in the previous video, right? Goku Black. UI Goku's banner is still available if you were missing him for your Super Bosses team. Probably going to benefit you a little bit more. But if you had all of those, right, and you had the coins to spare, right, and you have the Reps of Universe 7 team, these guys can definitely, come back here, these guys can definitely benefit that team quite well, as long as you're willing to do the work to protect them and utilize their support. So, guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, who are you going to pick up with your red coins, right? There's a couple choices here. There are the androids, but maybe you're missing one of these other guys. I do think these guys are probably the most worth it on Topo's banner. But let me know, what are you saving your coins for? And now, since we are here, we always like to end our coin video with a unit that we're going to pick up. So let's go ahead, let's head on over to our game screen here. We're going to head on over to the Baba shop. Okay, and I actually have these guys at 55% right now, so I'm actually going to use a set of coins to grab a dupe for them, because I feel like having a potential, because I'm not going to summon on this banner anymore, I feel like having the extra hidden potential is going to greatly benefit them, especially if I can feed in some dodge to them. So there you have it, folks. There is my pick, but in the comments, let us know what your pick was. And guys, if nothing else, thanks for watching, and aloha.